If your car feels off but you're not getting any codes, don't assume that means nothing is wrong because you didn't see any trouble code. When a car does not drive smoothly yet there is no check engine light and no code when you try to scan for error code, it usually means the problem hasn't crossed the computer threshold long enough for the system to log it in. Or sometimes it could be happening in a way your basic scanner is not capturing. In this video, I'm going to show you how to diagnose, fix, and reset a car with or without a check engine light that shows no codes, even if the vehicle runs fine. We will look at what you can check first, what most people miss, and when it actually makes sense to reset the check engine light after you've confirmed the fix. Stay with me to the end of this video because this is the difference between guessing and actually finding the cause to prevent crazy feature repair bills. And honestly, this situation confuses people because we've been trained to think the check engine light and trouble codes are the only way to diagnose a car. But the truth is, a car can absolutely have a real issue and still show no codes, especially if the problem is intermittent, not severe enough to trip a fault code yet, or it's happening in a way the computer can correct for when at rest without complaining. So in this video, I'm going to show you the cleanest way to diagnose this kind of problem using live data. We're going to look at your oxygen sensor readings, your short-term fuel trims, and your long-term fuel trims. Then we will use that to know if your engine is running lean or running rich, even if you have no check engine light and no stored codes. And I'll also show you what you should check if your fuel trims look normal, because that's where most people get stuck. Now, before we jump right into the scanning, let me clear up one thing. You don't need an expensive professional scan tool to do this. Yes, bigger scanners may have graphs and extra features, but these days, even small affordable scanners and phone apps can show you live data. Just look for one that has the feature. One with graphs make it easier, but you can still diagnose with basic numbers if you know what you're looking for. Now you might be thinking, okay, I kind of understand oxygen sensors, but fuel trims, short term, long term, that sounds confusing. It's not. It's actually super simple once you get the basic picture. Here's the quick version. Your engine is designed to run near a 14.7 to 1 air-to-fuel ratio under most normal conditions, like idle and light to medium throttle. That's called stoichiometric. It's where your car runs efficiently and keeps emissions under control. Your oxygen sensors measure the oxygen content in the exhaust, and the engine computer uses that information to decide whether to add more fuel or take fuel away to hit that target. So when the system is working properly and the engine is in closed loop, your upstream oxygen sensor, the one before the catalytic converter, should switch up and down rapidly. On many older style sensors, it bounces roughly from around 0.1 to around 0.8 volts. That back and forth switching is a sign the computer is constantly adjusting the mixture like it's supposed to. Now let's talk about what happens when something goes wrong. If the engine is running lean, meaning there is too much air and not enough fuel compared to what the computer wants, the oxygen sensor reading tends to stay lower because there's more oxygen left in the exhaust. When the computer sees that lean signal, it reacts by holding the fuel injectors open longer to add more fuel. That adjustment shows up as a positive number in your short-term fuel trim. So for example, if your short-term fuel trim is plus 10, plus 15, or plus 20%, that means the computer is actively adding fuel to correct something that looks lean. And here's the key part. Short-term fuel trim is the immediate quick adjustment. Long-term fuel trim is what happens when the issue keeps happening for a while. If the computer has been adding fuel in short-term constantly, it starts saving that correction into long-term fuel trim because it's basically saying, okay, this isn't a one-time thing, this is the new normal. And then it tries to bring short-term back closer to zero again. Now flip it the other way. If your engine is running rich, meaning too much fuel and not enough air, the oxygen sensor will tend to stay higher. The computer will reduce fuel, and that shows up as negative fuel trims. So if your short-term fuel trim is negative 10, negative 15, negative 20, the computer is taking fuel away to correct a rich condition. So basically, the positive fuel trims mean the computer is adding fuel, which usually points toward a lean condition. Negative fuel trims mean the computer is removing fuel, which usually points toward a rich condition. Now, before we talk about what numbers are normal, let me say something that's important for this specific video topic. When people say, my car runs fine and there are no codes, what they usually mean is one of three things. Either the problem is real but mild, and the computer is compensating, or the problem is intermittent and doesn't happen long enough to set a code. Or the problem isn't in the engine air-fuel control at all, meaning fuel trims and oxygen sensors might look normal because the issue is somewhere else. That's why this method is so powerful. It doesn't just give you answers, it also tells you what category the problem falls into. Now, what are normal fuel trim numbers? In general, if your short-term and long-term fuel trims are close to zero, that's ideal. In real time, that's not always going to happen, but you want them reasonably close. A common rule of thumb is that if you add short-term and long-term together, and the total is within roughly plus or minus 8%, sometimes plus or minus 10%, you're usually okay. Once you start seeing numbers consistently beyond that, especially 15% or more, that's when you know the computer's working hard to correct something. But you also want to check this at the right time. When you're checking oxygen sensors and fuel trims, make sure the engine is warmed up at operating temperature, and the scanner shows you are in closed loop. If you check too early while the engine is cold and in open loop, your readings won't tell you the real story. Now let me show you exactly how this looks in real life. On the scanner, you want to confirm closed loop. Then you want to look at your upstream oxygen sensor on bank 1 sensor 1. And if you have a V engine like a V6 or V8, you'll also have bank 2 sensor 1. Those upstream sensors are the ones that matter for fuel mixture control. The downstream sensors after the catalytic converters are more about catalyst monitoring and are not the main ones you rely on for mixture corrections. When the engine is healthy and warm, you should see the upstream oxygen sensor switching, and your short-term fuel trims should be moving slightly up and down as the computer adjusts. The long-term trims should be relatively stable. Now here's the part that helps you even if you have no codes. You can create a situation that forces the computer to react and see if the system responds correctly. For example, a quick controlled test is introducing a small vacuum leak temporarily, like pulling a vacuum line for a moment. What should happen is the engine goes lean, the oxygen sensor goes low, the short-term fuel trim jumps positive, and then the long-term may slowly start to move if you leave it long enough. When you restore the vacuum line, the numbers should return toward normal. And if that reaction looks correct, it tells you a lot. It tells you the oxygen sensors are responding. It tells you the computer is adjusting fuel. It tells you the system is capable of controlling the mixture. So now let's apply this to your real problem. If your engine runs poorly sometimes and you have no codes, and your fuel trims show a consistent lean condition, then your top suspects are things like vacuum leaks, unmetered air, exhaust leaks before the sensor, or even a dirty or misreporting mass airflow sensor. If the trims show a rich condition, then you're thinking about leaking injectors, fuel pressure issues, purge valve problems stuck open, or incorrect sensor inputs. But now let's get to the part most videos don't cover, and this is where your title topic really comes in. What if your fuel trims are normal, your oxygen sensors are switching, and yet you still have a complaint, or you still get a check engine light sometimes with no stored codes? This is where you go beyond codes and beyond fuel trims. The first thing you check is whether your scanner is actually looking at the right places. Some cheap scanners only show generic codes, but the car might have pending codes, history codes, or manufacturer-specific codes. So you want to check for pending codes and look at Mode 6 data if your tool supports it. Mode 6 is basically the car's internal self-test results, and it can show you a component failing before it becomes a full code. That's one of the best ways to diagnose no code, but the problem exists situations. Next, you check readiness monitors. If the car recently had codes cleared, or the battery was disconnected, the readiness monitors might not be complete. That can make it look like no issues, but the car hasn't even finished testing itself yet. So if your monitors are incomplete, drive the car through normal mixed conditions and retest. Now, if the car truly runs fine and you still want to reset things, the correct reset is not randomly clearing memory. The correct reset is to fix what's wrong and then clear codes, or let the system naturally turn the light off after a few clean drive cycles. If you clear a code without fixing anything, you're just resetting the symptom, not the problem. And one more thing that matters a lot. Some check engine lights turn on briefly but do not store a code you can easily see because the fault did not repeat enough times to mature into a stored code. That's why checking pending codes matters and why live data matters. So here's the clean diagnostic flow when you have no codes and the car runs fine. Step 1 is warm the car, confirm closed loop, and look at fuel trims and upstream oxygen sensor switching. Step 2 is check pending codes and readiness monitors. Step 3 is use Mode 6 if available. Step 4 is look for patterns based on when the issue happens: cold start, highway, idle, after rain, after refuel, after repairs, because that context points you toward the right system even when the computer stays quiet. At that point, you actually have a starting point. No codes doesn't mean no problem. It just means the computer hasn't officially complained yet, and using live data gives you the truth. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor and subscribe, hit that bell. Make sure to also check out this video here on how to diagnose traction and check the engine light that turned on at the same time. And I'll link them here on the screen. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.